What is the proper dosage with pine pollen? That's what we're going to be covering in this video. Hey, I'm Logan Christopher from Lost Empire Herbs, and I want to talk about dosing with pine pollen. Now, the dose depends a bit on the product. Of course, I'll be talking about what we have here at Lost Empire Herbs. If you're taking someone else's product, then there may be some differences with that. Can't really comment on that. But the first thing I want you to know, especially in the powder form, pine pollen is more of a food than a supplement, right? Something like bee pollen or other flower pollens that you may take, you can take quite variable amounts. In China, they'll often bake something like cakes or various other baked goods using the pine pollen powder. So with this, you can see that dosage gets quite high. So with our powder, we recommend there's kind of a suggested or maintenance dose, good place to start, but then there's also the mega dose. This minimum dose, the maintenance dose, is going to be 1 to 2 teaspoons a day, and we often recommend splitting that up, take it morning and nighttime. So 1 to 2 tablespoons in total a day. If you're taking our capsules, we have 3 capsules twice a day is the recommended dose with that, and that 3 capsules is going to be roughly equal to a teaspoon. Okay, so that is the normal dose. A lot of people getting really good effects with that. The mega dose, this being more of a food substance, you can take significantly more. We recommend up to 3 tablespoons as a mega dose, and even taking this all at once. If going for this morning wood guarantee test, we do recommend taking that along with a glass of water at night right before you go to bed. It doesn't work for everyone, but it does seem to work for a lot of guys. That's why we started talking about it, because we were hearing from people with that effect. So that is the variable amount, from 1 teaspoon a day up to 3 tablespoons. Quite a range, right? Now with our tincture, a little bit different form here. While pine pollen is more of a superfood, the tincture is quite a bit stronger. And here, we want to not go overboard with it. Our recommended dose with the pine pollen tincture is 1 to 2 dropperfuls per day. Now, dropperful, it's not actually quite a full dropper. It fills up when you squeeze the bulb to about halfway line, so 1 or 2 squirts per day. And this is best done under the tongue, and you hold it there sublingually. And this allows it to absorb into the body. It is a higher alcohol percentage, and that is done for extracting and delivering the hormonal benefits. So it can burn a bit, but most people get used to that in a little bit of time. And if it is too strong, you can still get some of these benefits by, say, putting it in tea or drink, different ways of applying it there. Once again, even this dose, it is a starting point. And this is our recommended dose for guys. For women, sometimes, in general, we recommend just the pine pollen powder for women, or the capsules, not the tincture. However, women that know they have low testosterone or want to experiment with that, we do recommend, but you want to start very low dose, 1 to 2 drops per day. That's it. So a tincture bottle will last you a long time, if that is how you use it. But some guys, they like the effects and they can go up in dose. I know guys that have done 6 to 8 dropperfuls per day. I don't necessarily recommend this. With a lot of the herbs, there can be a point of too much, and we have heard reports of people having opposite of the intended effects, so they may be taking it for sexual functions and things aren't working quite as well. That seems to happen in a very small minority of cases, but it is a possible function. So be careful trying to mega dose the pine pollen tincture. I feel like some people do go overboard on that. Lastly, because it is stronger and you're working with the hormone system, we do recommend cycling. For example, taking it 5 days on, then laying off for 2 days, which you can do with just the weekdays and the weekend, or taking a bottle for every single day, lasts about a month or so, and then lay off for a whole week. The reason we do this is our hormones will adjust to anything that is going on. So if you switch things up, then the body this just gives a little bit of a safety mechanism, so the body is not relying on the outside thing. With the pine pollen powder, not as important to cycle because it is much more gentle, and the body's basically going to use it for what it needs. What works best for you, you're going to have to ultimately experiment and find out. There is no right answer. From 1 teaspoon a day to 3 tablespoons, this can be done in combination with 1 squirt a day or a couple drops up to several dropperfuls. Very variable, and there's good reason for this. It is an herb, and it's going to work a little bit differently for everyone. A lot more information about what pine pollen can do for you over at lostempireherbs.com. If you're not watching the video here, well, please subscribe to our channel. We got lots of other videos on pine pollen, as well as all the other great herbs we have. But head on over there, check it out. A lot of detail, especially around this herb. It's our most popular one for a reason.